Hey, EastEnders fans, get ready because we've just witnessed one of the most explosive courtroom dramas in the history of Walford. Dean Wicks has dropped a bombshell confession that has left everyone speechless, and it's going to change the game for the Six. In today's episode breakdown, we'll dive into every shocking moment of Dean's trial and what this means for the future of EastEnders. So, stick around as we dissect the drama, emotions, and implications of that jaw-dropping admission. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Sarah, and today we're diving deep into the massive twist in EastEnders. If you haven't seen the latest episodes yet, spoiler alert ahead. But trust me, this is one twist you're not going to want to miss, so let's get into it. Dean Wicks, played by Angelo, has been a controversial figure in EastEnders for years, but everything took a shocking turn in court when he finally admitted for the first time that he raped Linda Carter, played by Kellie Bright. The courtroom was already charged with tension, but this outburst left everyone stunned. This moment, years in the making, has changed the course of the trial and could spell doom for Dean. But let's rewind a little and break down how we got to this monumental confession. The trial kicked off with Sharon Watts, Letitia Dean, being held in contempt of court. Now, Sharon isn't someone who holds back, especially when it comes to protecting her friends. She was furious with Dean's lawyer and lashed out in court, earning herself some time in a police cell. Classic Sharon, right? As she's escorted away, who walks in but Linda, the real killer of Keanu? But as soon as she saw Sharon surrounded by police officers, she panicked and bolted out of the courtroom. This moment really shows how torn Linda is. She's battling so much guilt and fear, it's no wonder she's struggling to keep it together. Meanwhile, outside of court, Phil Mitchell, played by Steve McFadden, comes up with a clever plan. After Johnny Carter, played by Charlie Suff, mentioned Linda's kids, Annie and Ollie, to him, Phil had an idea. He pretended that the kids were in the hospital to lure Linda back. Of course, Linda, being the loving mother she is, rushed out of her hotel room to check on them. When she arrived expecting to find her children, she was instead met by her friends, members of the Six. This was an intervention, plain and simple. The Six were determined to support Linda and push her to face Dean in court. And you know what? It worked. This moment was crucial as Linda finally mustered the strength to return to the courtroom. Once back in court, Linda held her own during her cross-examination. She's no stranger to pressure, and it showed. She answered with confidence, even when Dean's lawyer tried to trip her up. When the subject of her drinking came up, something we know has been a major struggle for her in the past, Linda didn't fall apart. She stood strong, telling the jury that she's been sober for a while now and was completely sober on that infamous Christmas day. It was a powerful moment, and you could feel the jury starting to lean toward her side. But then came the break, and this is where things really started to unravel. Dean, who had been keeping his cool, at least on the surface, began to panic. His lawyer, Finn, tried to calm him down, telling him to control his temper. But Dean was spiraling. He started to convince himself that everyone, especially the Six, was conspiring against him. And that's when we got the moment that shocked us all. Back in court, Dean's frustration was boiling over. He was absolutely convinced that the Six had planted the murder weapon in his flat, but when the lawyer pressed him about it, he suddenly changed tactics. With his back against the wall, Dean blurted out the unthinkable. "I think the murder weapon was planted because I raped Linda, and this is her way of getting revenge." The room fell silent. The audience, everyone, was in complete shock. For years, Dean had denied ever raping Linda. It was a traumatic event that shattered her life, and for him to finally admit it in front of an entire courtroom was a massive moment not just for the trial, but for the show. This wasn't just about justice for Keanu's murder anymore. This was about Linda finally getting the truth out there. And the raw emotion from everyone in that courtroom was palpable. With Dean's confession out in the open, the judge had no choice but to call a recess. The courtroom needed time to process what just happened, and so do we, honestly. But what's next? Dean has essentially set himself up for time behind bars. He's finally admitted to the rape, but will he be convicted of Keanu's murder too? Or was this part of a bigger plot by the Six to take him down for good? So there you have it. A breakdown of one of the most intense moments in EastEnders history. Dean's confession is going to have massive repercussions for the rest of the trial, and I can't wait to see how it all plays out. But what do you think? Will Dean face the consequences for his actions, or is there another twist in store for the Six? Drop your theories in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more EastEnders breakdowns. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.